Amina thought she had it made. She had secured a coveted clinician's position at the hospital. The hours were long, 12-hour shifts that bled into one another. But the pay was great, better than what she'd ever earned. She was now able to afford practically any apartment in New York's greatest neighborhoods. Friends and relatives praised her, calling her the success story of the family. She told herself that this was the dream, the end of the struggle. But in truth, each day left her more tired than the last. Her body ached, her eyes burned, her laughter had grown rare. Money piled into her account, but the joy did not follow it. Instead, her life became a cycle of exhaustion, a grind that made her feel less professional and more like a well-paid servant, a glorified slave in a starched white coat. It was on one such day, walking wearily through the long corridor of the ward, that she stopped. A picture on the wall caught her eyes. She turned her head and found herself staring at the portrait of a woman, an African woman, with a calabash balanced perfectly on her head. The woman's gaze was calm and timeless. The sight struck Amina with unexpected force. Her mind opened and memories rushed in. She was in Nigeria again, walking through her grandmother's village. The morning air was sharp with dew and the earth cool beneath her feet. She could hear the swishing of the broom as her grandmother swept the front of her home, her daily ritual. Her grandmother's hands were strong and sure, her voice carrying stories that lulled the children to sleep by firelight. Amina remembered the laughter of cousins chasing one another. She remembered the taste of roasted corn, oha soup, plucked freshly from the trees, smell of smoke wood, the rhythm of drums carried on the evening breeze. She remembered a life that was simple yet whole. And then the irony pressed against her chest like a weight. This very image, this symbol of balance and grace, was the kind of thing that she once had been taught to despise. Western education viewed such things as primitive, relics of poverty, something to be ashamed of and outgrow, and she had believed them and carried that shame for years. Yet here, in the gleaming corridor of Western hospitals, after endless shifts and mounting fatigue, it was this picture that gave her peace. Not her paycheck, not her title, not the sterile promises of modern life. This picture reminded her of a truth she had long buried, that there was dignity in simplicity, strength in stillness, and a joy in the roots she had been taught to forget. For the first time in years, she thought of home not with bitterness, not with the tired anger of someone who fled Nigeria's chaos, but with longing. She thought of its skies, wide and unbroken. She thought of the earth, rich and forgiving, the rich red earth. She thought of her grandmother's voice guiding her back to herself. The picture had done what her job, her money, and her city could not. It calmed her spirit. As she stood in the hospital corridor, white coat hanging, heavy on her shoulders, Amina began to imagine the possibility of returning. Not forever, not yet, but perhaps a trip, a return to the soil that first held her ancestors, her parents, to the rhythms that once steadied her heart. For the first time in a long time, while she allowed herself to dream, not of promotions or paychecks, but of peace.
And as these thoughts went through her mind, these wonderful, euphoric memories and nostalgia, a voice within spoke to her and said, "It is time. It is time for a return."